Hi again. Today's class is about oxidation and reduction. Remember in the first class, we did an experiment with magnesium ribbon. We burnt magnesium ribbon with the help of a burner and we got a white powder of magnesium oxide. What happened to magnesium? It changed to magnesium oxide on burning. Magnesium had combined with oxygen, and reactions in which oxygen is gained is known as oxidation reaction. Any chemical reaction in which oxygen is gained is known as oxidation reaction. Furthermore, let's have an example with copper powder. You know copper is reddish brown in color. Take some amount of copper powder in a china dish. China dish is a porcelain dish that we use in laboratories to heat and evaporate and boil things. So we need wire gauze, tripod, a china dish and a burner. So take some copper in a china dish, place it on a wire gauze on top of a tripod and keep the burner below and heat the china dish. What happens to copper? After some time you can see the surface of copper has turned black in color. Previously it was reddish brown, now it has turned black in color. Some reaction has happened. Copper has combined with oxygen and formed CuO. It is because of the formation of the oxide of copper, the color of the surface has changed from reddish brown to black. So oxidation has happened, or copper has gained oxygen during the reaction, and such reactions are oxidation reactions. Now let us allow a passage of hydrogen above this copper oxide. Wait for the reaction to happen and you can see the surface turns back to reddish brown. So oxygen is lost. So any reaction in which oxygen is lost is known as reduction reaction. So oxidation and reduction are very common reactions. So oxidation and reduction can be explained in terms of gaining and losing of oxygen. So when something gains oxygen, then it becomes an oxidation reaction, and when something loses oxygen, it becomes a reduction reaction. Again, the same reaction can be expressed in terms of hydrogen. If during a reaction, any substance gains hydrogen, then it becomes a reduction reaction, and if it loses hydrogen, it becomes an oxidation reaction. So you can explain oxidation and reduction in terms of oxygen as well as hydrogen. Later on you will learn oxidation and reduction reaction which happens in terms of electrons also. So but currently you will be learning in terms of oxygen and hydrogen. Any substance gaining oxygen is oxidized, any substance losing oxygen is reduced. So any substance gaining hydrogen is reduced and any substance losing hydrogen is oxidized. Let's see the equations. So we need a china dish. This is a white color china dish. It's usually made of porcelain and it is used for boiling and heating substances. It is placed on a wire gauze. Which is placed on a tripod. We have a burner here. We are heating the copper powder which is taken in the china dish. So this is a redox reaction. Why? Copper oxide is getting reduced to copper and H2 is gaining oxygen and forming water. So both oxidation and reduction happens in the same reaction and hence it is a redox reaction. So you have to know what oxidation is, what reduction is and what redox reactions are. Understand? Here the substance getting oxidized is hydrogen. Hydrogen is getting converted to water. So substance oxidized is hydrogen. And the substance reduced is copper oxide. Substance reduced is copper oxide. And a reducing agent is any substance that undergoes oxidation. So what undergoes oxidation? Hydrogen. So reducing agent is hydrogen. And oxidizing agent is any substance that undergo reduction. So copper oxide is the oxidizing agent here. Now H2S plus Cl2 give 2HCl and S. Here chlorine is getting hydrogen, so it is reduction, and H2S is losing hydrogen, so it is this reaction is H2S to S is oxidation. So sulfur is getting oxidized, chlorine is getting reduced. There are two terms that you need to know oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Any substance that gives hydrogen and gains oxygen and undergoes oxidation is known as a reducing agent. Small recap of types of reactions. We have done combination, decomposition, single displacement and double displacement reactions, and today we have done oxidation and reduction. Combination reactions are reactions in which many substances combine to give a single product. For a simple comparison, it's like making a cake. You mix flour, sugar, egg, and you keep it in the oven and you get a cake. So you're mixing different substances, but you're getting a single product. So combination reactions are similar to that you take different types of reactants, they all react together and to give you a single product. Then we did decomposition reactions. A single reactant splits to give you different compounds or elements and compounds. Thirdly, we did single displacement reactions in which an element displaces a metal from a compound. And then we did double displacement reactions. Double displacement reactions are reactions in which there are mutual exchange of ions between the different compounds that are reacting. Today we did oxidation and reduction reactions. So these are the types of reactions that you should know. When they give you different reactions to compare and identify, then you have to be very careful. If you see a lot of components on the reactant side giving a single product, then it is a combination reaction. If you see a single reactant giving lot of products, 2 to 3 products, then it is a decomposition reaction. You just have to be careful what is there on the reactant side and the product side. And if there is a single ion being displaced, then it is a single displacement reaction. And two, mutual exchange of ions between the compounds. For example, we did barium chloride and sodium sulfate reaction and to get a precipitate of barium sulfate. Such reactions are precipitation reactions or double displacement reactions. And then oxidation is when there is a gaining of oxygen or losing of hydrogen. And reduction is when there is a gaining of hydrogen and or losing of oxygen. So you have to be very careful when you are being given reactions to identify. Now we move on to corrosion and rancidity. This is the last part of the lesson, chemical reactions and equations. Corrosion is a very common natural process that happens around you all the time. When you visit parks, you must have seen swings and seesaws all covered with reddish brown powder, or grills or windows of your house getting a reddish brown powder. You must have seen the silver ornaments turning black, or copper vessels turning green in color. These are all corrosion happening to the metal. Corrosion is a natural process through which a metal undergoes deterioration to form metal oxides, metal carbonates or metal sulfides. Every year, crores of rupees are being spent in order to rebuild the things that have been destroyed due to corrosion. For example, parts of ships, parts of aeroplanes, bridges, all corrode due to the exposure to the environment. Any metal when it is exposed to the atmosphere, it reacts with the carbon dioxide or hydrogen sulfide or oxygen in the atmosphere or the moisture in the atmosphere to form a corroded metal. When iron gets corroded, we call it rust. Rust is actually hydrated ferric oxide. Iron combines with oxygen when it is exposed to a moist environment and you get rust, reddish brown color rust. This is hydrated ferric oxide. There are different ways to prevent metal corrosion: painting, oiling or greasing, electroplating and alloying. These usually help the metal from getting corroded. Silver vessels and ornaments turn black when it is exposed to atmosphere. This is because silver reacts with hydrogen sulfide in the air to form silver sulfide. This is black in color. So the surface becomes coated with silver sulfide, and that is making the ornament and the vessel turn black. Copper also reacts with carbon dioxide, oxygen and water present in the air to form basic copper carbonate. This is green in color. That's why you can see copper vessels turning green in color. Aluminium also reacts with oxygen to form aluminum oxide. This forms a coating on the surface of aluminium which prevents further oxidation. Hence, aluminium does not corrode, but it loses its polish or sheen because it is exposed to oxygen. So these are the common corrosion that we see around us. A metal becomes corroded when it is exposed to the atmosphere and it reacts with the carbon dioxide, water, H2S that is present in the air. Iron reacts with water to form Fe2O3 H2O. This is hydrated ferric oxide and it is called rust. Copper reacts with water, oxygen as well as carbon dioxide to form CuCO3 CuOH twice. This is basic copper carbonate. Silver reacts with hydrogen sulfide to form Ag2S silver sulfide, which is black in color. So this forms a black surface on silver vessels and silver ornaments. So these are the common examples of corrosion that we see in everyday life. Remember that time you opened a packet of chips and left it open for 2-3 days, and then when you tasted it finally on the fourth day, it was having a very bad taste and smell? What must have happened? The fat and the oil present in the food substances undergo oxidation. This gives it a very bad taste and smell. This is called rancidity. Oxidation of fat and oil present in the food substances is known as rancidity. You can either use antioxidants, you can keep it in refrigerator, or you can airtight it, or you can remove the oxygen, or in factories they remove the oxygen and vacuum pack it, or they flush in nitrogen instead of oxygen. This technique helps to prevent rancidity. So this is the last class for chemical reactions and chemical equations. So in this lesson we have studied what physical changes are, what chemical changes are, what are the different factors that decide a chemical reaction, how a equation can be written, and how to write a chemical equation, what is a skeletal equation, how to balance a chemical equation. All these things we have learned in this lesson. Then we studied the different types of chemical reactions, and after that we studied what corrosion and rancidity is. I hope you have understood the lesson well. If you have any doubts, you can write it in the comment column. And please subscribe to this channel. We'll move on to the next lesson in the next video. I hope you will come back. So see you in the next class.